Hello, parents and students. Welcome to fourth grade. This is Mr. Smith, and I'm going to be sharing with you the orientation presentation for our 2019-2020 school year. This should take up to about 15 minutes. This is typically that presentation that you come into school on orientation day, and about half of the class is there, and the teacher makes a presentation. Well, just want to remind you that doing things a little bit differently, in fact, in the sense that we are going to have individual conferences instead on orientation day. So I would like you to watch this presentation before you come on September 3rd so that you can bring any questions with you that you may have or anything that I didn't explain clearly. So with that said, I'm going to start off with contact and communication. I believe that's an extremely important part of what we're doing over the next 9 months is that we communicate well. And so I want to make sure that parents are informed of what's going on in the classroom and making sure that parents have an opportunity to be heard at the same time. So you have my email address there as well as Westside's number. Typically, I'm at school by 7:45 in the morning, and I leave about 4:15. Wednesdays and Thursday mornings, I have meetings, so I won't be able to get back to you right away or necessarily pick up a phone call on those 2 days, those 2 mornings, but I will try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I also know that things happen and questions happen outside of the school day, so I'm giving you my cell phone number there. I just ask that you keep your calls before 9:30 p.m. at night, and you can certainly text me as well on that number. I want to talk a little bit about our Classroom Closed Group Facebook page. Most of you are already on there, and I'm hoping to get all of you on there. Also, our school website, RFSD K12WIUS, has a West Side page, and then our take-home folder. Those are all elements of communication that'll occur this year. So let me get into the next piece, which is our Classroom Facebook page. Again, most of you are already signed up. I have given parents the opportunity or the settings so that you can invite grandparents and aunts and uncles if they would like to keep up with your child's happenings here at school. Again, talked about increasing home and school communication. I'm not sure about you, but once in a while at home with my own children, I'll ask them, "Hey, what did you do in school today?" And the reply was nothing. And I'm thinking, well, that's kind of a bummer that you did nothing all day. So I think on the Facebook page, what I'll do, and I have done this in the past, is I'll take pictures of things that we're doing in class so that you can talk to your child about that at night when they get home. Something say, "Hey, I saw you had a guest speaker today," or "Hey, I saw you were making windmills in science," and something like that. So that'll hopefully prompt a little more conversation for you and your child as well if you want to do that. I also want to build community and connections outside the school and as well as inside. So parents, if you have anything that you have for questions, or maybe you go on a field trip with us and you took some pictures, you can certainly post those things to our Facebook Classroom Facebook page as well. I'll use it for reminders, and typically I will use it for homework, and I'll post what homework is pretty much every night. And then in a moment here, I'm going to have a quick tour of our classroom page, and I'll certainly invite you, for those of you who haven't got on there, to search for it, or we can even get you signed up at our orientation day conference. And the group is Westside Smith, fourth grade, 2019-2020. So just a quick tour of that, and won't take too long because, again, most of you are already on here. But this is our classroom page, and you can see I've been posting stuff, for example, for our ambassadors, as well as orientation day, and other things as well as we go throughout the year. This one dealt with the snack, that your child is in charge of his or her own snack. They're going to get one of these containers. And so keep that in mind, please, as you go. You certainly can send treats for birthdays. That's just fine. And I'll let you know about allergies when I get that information in time. So back to the presentation here. I wanted to share a little bit more with you about orientation day. That, again, we're going to do these 20-minute slots. Most of you are already signed up for those. And so if you haven't, please do so. I sent that both in email as well as on our Facebook page. And what we're going to do is we're going to take about 10-15 minutes to talk about your child's strengths, any concerns you have, questions that you may have, experience from previous years in school, anything about your family that's important, that you feel is important for me to know. And then I want to give parents a few minutes to work on paperwork while I do an activity with the student. It'll also be a day where I think this Life Touch photo is here. So the photographer is here for your child's school pictures. You can drop off supplies in the classroom, or you can send them on Wednesdays, the next day, September 4th. But you can certainly bring those on Tuesday the 3rd as well. And then I've already talked about the conference and the paperwork piece. So that's really what our orientation day will be about. A little bit different from what the other classes are doing. Did it last year, but I'm certainly looking forward to doing it again this year. Here's our school website, and perhaps you are familiar with that or not. You can just simply go to the RFSD K-12 WIDUS, and then you can click on schools and follow that link there. For example, stuff on like the fourth grade ambassador was on there, that meeting, and other things will be on there as well. Homework. I do want to take a little time to talk about homework, and I'll talk more about this during our conference, but I wanted to show it to you as well on here. Is for math, I teach math a bit differently than traditionally, I guess you could say. Traditionally, you go to school and you get the lesson on Monday, and then Monday night you have the homework to do and the home link. I do it a little bit differently in terms of having the kids actually do the homework before the lesson. So really it's more of a preview is what it is. And I use something called Edpuzzle. And Edpuzzle can show videos of the content of the lesson. So I've recorded nearly all of my lessons, and it'll show part of that next day's lesson is what it'll be. So kids would actually watch the lesson preview on Sunday night. Then they would come to class on Monday. We would talk about the lesson and go through it, talk about their homework, their home link, go through it as a group, go with a small group or a partnership. And then we would have a new Edpuzzle video for Monday night, which we will go through on Tuesday. So that's essentially how that will work. And I want to take a moment to show you how to get on there for the first time. And I'll include these directions in your child's homework folder as well. So essentially what I'm going to ask is if your child would have access, first of all, of course, to a computer and internet access at home so they can do their homework there. If they can't, we'll figure out an alternative means of taking care of this. But if they have internet access at home, that would be extremely helpful. And so when you get onto the computer, you need to go to Google first, google.com. In the upper right corner here, they would need to, if they don't already have it, they would need to add their RFSD K12WI.US account. I will have those in homework folders as well. And so once they've done that and they've logged themselves into their Google account, they are going to go to edpuzzle.com. And I'm going to bring Edpuzzle up here in just a moment. It's taking its sweet time. And once they're in Edpuzzle, what they're going to do is they're going to click on Login. We're going to sign up at school, so don't sign up. Just they're going to click on Login is what they're going to click on. They would choose Login as a student. I'm going to do as a teacher. And then this will pop up, and they'll log in with Google then is what they'll click on. They might have to select their account, which is looking like it's going to do here for me. So yep, I'm going to go ahead and select my RFSD K12WIUS account. And then once they're into that, they will have classes along the left side. Mine looks a little bit different, of course, because mine is the teacher view. But on the left side here, they're going to have math homework, 4th grade. And you're going to see, for example, the math homework Unit 1, Lesson 1 is here. They will click on it, and then they will end up playing it and listening to it. So I'm going to give you just a little preview of that right now. Hopefully this will pop up and work for us. Hello, 4th graders. This is Mr. Smith. And this video is actually your math homework for tonight. Yes, you have to watch a video for your homework. And so anyway, there'll be a home link sheet that will also go with that. That'll be in their homework folder. So that's a lot on homework. Again, I'll talk a little bit more about that at our orientation and conference. But like I said, I want to just give you that preview right now. So the next time then, by the way, after they go into Edpuzzle the first time and go into Google, they don't have to go to Google again. Just as long as they've already logged into your computer once, they can then go ahead and log into Edpuzzle the second time. Again, click on Student and then choose Google the second time. But the first time, they have to go through all that. So back to the presentation here. Also with homework, reading 20 minutes each night is extremely important and helpful for your child to become a good reader. There'll be various projects throughout the year. Our take-home folder, I'm not sure what color those are going to be yet, but the take-home folder is going to be something that should come home each night, and that'll be a place that their home link packets will be in for math, along with that's where field trip notes can be, notes from home can come back to me. I prefer email, but you can certainly write a note and share that. Lunch money, if you want to put that in there, we'll get that down to the office in time, and other things. few more things about your child's day and about your day, students, is that you'll have a 6-day schedule for Phi-Ed, music, art, and media. I don't know that schedule quite yet. I will put that in the take-home folder, or that should be available on our orientation day. Just a couple of reminders with that is gym shoes on Phi-Ed days, as well as returning Media Center books. I think this year they can check out 2 books, maybe 3. Don't quote me on that, but Mrs. Johansson will go through that with them. But I do think it's a few more. So getting those back to school on time is important. I definitely want to talk about technology in our classroom, both for parents and students to hear. So this classroom is pretty heavy in terms of technology. We use a lot of it, as you can see there: Schoology, Edpuzzle, Flipgrid, No Red Ink, Google Drive. That's just to name a few. And with that comes responsibility. And so we have a lot of discussions on digital citizenship, especially at the beginning of the year, appropriate searches, use of copyright. These are things they also get in Media Center. Advertisements that might pop up, cyberbullying, responding to other people's posts that we have within Schoology, for example. And so there's a lot of responsibility, so to say, that comes to the kids with technology. The Chromebooks themselves. Last year, I was able to get 8 of them from the PTO, from a grant from the PTO. I had several parents who were very generous and had given me a donation, and then I was also able to, using some good buying and selling skills on eBay, get essentially a class set of these touchscreen Chromebooks. And so essentially, over 2/3 of them are actually mine, and about 1/3 of them are the school's. So just handling them themselves. They are glass, and if they drop, they will break. I had none of them drop last year, so I was very happy with that. So hopefully we'll keep that streak going. We'll have a user agreement that the kids and I will talk about. We'll look at I look at the children's history folder on their Chromebooks periodically, and as well as if there's any issues going on. Consequences for the misuse of technology, it will be based on the individual infraction itself. I have had very few issues over the years with the use of technology, especially at the beginning of the year when we talk about digital citizenship, and throughout the year, especially when we come back from Christmas break too, we kind of do a bit of a review of that. So I'm not overly worried about that. The other things I want to share with you, oops, I popped out of there. Let me get that back in here. So the other thing to share is just some noteworthy items, is that for the students to have respect for our safety patrollers. Next year in 5th grade, these kids will have the opportunity to be on safety patrol. And so I think it's important that they show that respect that they would want, that they're going to want next year. And they also have the opportunity, and it's not on here, to be an ambassador, which is a very helpful position. So I'm hoping that our kids will have the opportunity to participate and respect our patrol, as well as our ambassador this year and patrol next year. Morning recess begins around 8:30 a.m. Kids don't need to be at school any earlier than that, unless, of course, they're in Kids Club. A few other things here, Family Fresh receipts and the backpack program. So one of the things that I would like to ask is that you send in your Family Fresh receipts. It's really cool how Family Fresh will, after a certain amount of dollars in receipts that we collect, they give a check for $1,000 to Our Neighbor's Place for the backpack program. So we are collecting Family Fresh receipts. So you don't have to do anything extra. You just simply go do your shopping that you normally do, and then when you come back and unpack your groceries, just put that receipt in your child's homework folder, and then send that to school. And then Our Neighbor's Place collects those, and after, like I said, a certain amount of dollars that they get in receipts, they get $1,000 check from Family Fresh. So that helps our backpack program, which helps families with meals over the weekends. So it's a pretty cool program, pretty easy to do. Field trips. I know last year the 4th graders went to the Carpenter Nature Center, as well as the Minnesota State Capitol. I think there might be another one in there as well. And so information on chaperoning for those field trips will certainly come home too. Fall parent-teacher conferences, as we look forward to November. You can put these on your calendar here. So November 7th and November 12th, those conferences will be from 4 to 8 p.m. So just wanted to put that out there. We typically do the fun run in October. I would assume that we are going to do that again this year. And if so, fundraising packets will be coming home a week or so before that. And then finally, just a reminder to sign up for your 20-minute time slot if you haven't done so already. And please be sure to bring any questions that you may have with you and be ready to talk about your child's strengths and experiences in the past year. So looking forward to seeing all of you and meeting all of you and working with your children over the next 9 weeks, or next 9 months, that is. So I will see you on September 3rd. Take care.